Hi guys. Today we're going to be working on Excel, Chapter 2, the guided project, which is 2-3. I'm in SimNet. I'm going to go to the project and then the guided project, which is right here. Um, I can see there's only a start file, so I'm going to download that, open it up, and then I'm going to save it to wherever I normally save my files, which you guys all know by now is in my SS folder. So I'm going to do a save as. And then I'm going to browse for my SS folder. Now, once you've got this saved, I just did step 1 of the project. So before I even start, I want to show you guys that I have 2 worksheets in this workbook. I have a worksheet called Student Loan, and I have a worksheet called Fees and Credit. So make sure you guys are on the right worksheet as you are working. So I'm going to start on the student loan worksheet. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to name a range, which is kind of like a group of cells together. I'm going to name it so then I can use it in the future. So I'm going to select B5 through C8, which is from loan amount all the way through this. Now it tells me in my formulas tab, I am going to go to my create from selection, which is in my define names group. Here's create from selection right here. And it's going to tell me that I'm going to deselect the top row, which mine is already deselected, and then click OK. Now, this is saved. And it's kind of funny because if you guys look, nothing really happened. But I want to show you guys, I'm going to go into my name manager here. I can see that I have a loan amount here, which I'm going to kind of extend this out. These are all of my things that are named. And so I've got loan term and payment, and these are in here as things that I've already saved. Step number 3. This is the first time I am going to enter a function. Now, a function is a formula that has already been set up in Excel. Excel's power is that it's already set up formulas. So we've already talked in class, simple formulas start with the equal signs. Excel also has all of these formulas. And if I just kind of take a look here, they are grouped into groups. So I've got financial formulas. And if you look at all of these are all formulas that have been made. I've got logical, I've got text, I've got date and time, and then I've got more functions here. Now, all of my formulas are listed in this insert functions button. So I think that this is almost an easier way to go about it than the buttons. You can search for a function if you want to, or you can go to a category, which are the categories right here. Well, it tells me, I'm going to close this down, to click on C8, which is this empty box. So let's just talk about what we're going to do. We have taken out a student loan. So we've gone to Sierra Pacific Community College, and we've taken a loan out for $10,000. When we pay it back, it's going to be a 5-year payback period, and the interest rate is going to be 4.5%. So what we want to figure out is what our payment is going to be to pay off this loan. So I'm going to clicked in C8, and I'm going to go to I could go to my financial button, but I like going to my insert function button better. Now, since I know that this is a payment function, I am just going to search the 3 letters that kind of mean payment, which is PMT. Now, if you guys take a look, it was not found here because I'm in date and time. So I'm going to go to my all, and I'm going to click in my PMT again, and sure enough, I find the function. Now, for those of you guys who like to use these buttons here, you can. I always like to go to all and then search for my function. So I'm going to click on OK. Now, all that you have to do is fill in these boxes. So I'm just going to kind of move it aside. I've got the rate box, which is right here. This is going to ask for the interest rate. Now I could type in 4.5%, but instead I'm just going to click on the box that holds the interest rate. That way, if I change this box, it will automatically update. Next, this interest rate is the yearly interest rate. We are looking for the monthly payment. So I have to divide this rate by 12. So in this rate box, now it says rate. Now I'm going to hit the divided by sign and then 12. This is going to give me my monthly interest rate, which if you guys can see, it's right here, 0.00375. Then I am going to click on the N per box, which is this. This is going to be the loan term. How many payments am I going to make? So I know that the loan term is 5 years, so I'm going to click on this, but I know I pay every month. So instead of just having 5 payments here, I am going to hit Shift 8 and multiply that times 12 months that are in a year. A 5-month or a 5-year loan actually has 60 payments in it. And then G says click the PV box. Now the PV box is going to be how much is this loan for? So I know the loan amount is $10,000, but this is where it gets really funny. Okay? If I look here, it tells me my formula result is 186.43, but it's in parentheses. In Excel, when I see anything in parentheses, that's a negative amount. So it's telling me that I owe negative 186.43 every month. Whenever I do a loan amount, I want to put a minus sign in front of it. So I'm going to go in front of loan amount, and I am going to put a minus sign in front of it. Now I can see that the parentheses have gone away, so I am going to be paying 186.43. Click OK. Your box now gets filled in. Step, I'm sorry, if I flip over the page here, step 4 says we are now going to do a formula for total interest, which is right here. So if I know I have to pay 186.43 for 5 years every month, and the total amount of the loan is $10,000, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what I'm paying back in total, and I'm going to subtract out the loan amount. So I'm in F5, and I am going to go to, and I'm going to type this in. This is not a formula. So I have to start out with an equal sign. And then I am going to click the C8. C8. C8 is the payment. And then I am going to multiply that times how many years I'm going to pay. So Shift 8. And then I'm going to click in the loan term, which is C6, times 12, because there's 12 months in a year. Well, I am going to put this in parentheses. Now I can see the formula here, but I'm going to put the parentheses up here. So what I want to do is I want to put this whole thing from the equal sign all the way through the 12 in parentheses. Now, if you were ever paying attention in algebra class, the order of operations is parentheses first. So this, what I've got in parentheses, is going to give me the total amount that I'm paying back. Well, I want to subtract from it, so minus the amount of the loan. And I'm going to click on this 10,000, which is C5. Now, if I press enter now, enter is going to let my computer do the work for me. I will see the extra amount that I am paying back on the loan is $1,185.81. So I'm not just paying $10,000 back because I'm paying interest back as well. Step 5 says create the total principal. Now, I know principal is the amount of the loan. So when I go through this, I should actually have it equal 10,000. I'm going to do a formula to equal 10,000. So I'm going to go into F6 and I'm going to press my equal sign. And then I am going to do my payment, which is C8, times, so Shift 8, the number of years, which is C6, times 12 months a year. And that's going to be the total amount that I pay back. So let's put this in parentheses again. So parentheses before payment, parentheses after 12. Well, if I know this is the total amount that I'm paying back, but some of it is interest, let's subtract interest off. So I'm going to subtract out the total interest, which is F5. Now I've got the total amount I paid minus interest that should equal 10,000. When I press enter, sure enough, that's the amount of the loan. Now I'm going to go into F7. In F7, I want to know the total cost of the loan. The total cost of the loan is principal, which is the amount of the loan, plus the interest I'm paying back. So that's the total cost I'm paying back. So all formulas in Excel start with equals. I'm going to hit the equal sign. I'm going to click on F5, which is the amount of interest, plus F6. And then I'm going to press enter. So the total amount that I'm paying back in the loan is $11,185.81. All right, I'm going to press Control S right now, and I'm going to go back or go to step 6, which is called an amortization schedule. What an amortization schedule is it kind of goes through each payment that you make, how much you are paying off of the loan and how much you are paying off in interest. Now, the reality of loans are the earlier in the period, the more you pay in interest, the less you pay off on the loan. The closer you get to the loan being paid off, the more you pay off of the loan, the less you pay off of interest. So we're going to see this changing. So we are going to start in cell B13, which is the beginning balance of the loan. Now, if you remember, the beginning balance of the loan is $10,000, which is up here, C5. So since this is going to be a formula, I'm going to hit my equal sign and then click on C5. Now this is the beginning balance of the loan, so I don't have to add or subtract anything to it. So I'm done with my formula. Press enter. The interest is going to be, and I'm going to go back to my beginning balance. It's showing 10,000, but I don't like how it's not showing it as dollars and cents. So I'm going to go to my home tab and I'm going to change the general pull down to accounting. That's going to give me my dollars and cents. Step D says click in cell C13. This is how much interest am I paying. So the interest is calculating by multiplying the balance of the loan, which right now is 10,000, times the interest rate divided by 12, because we're making monthly payments. So it's a formula. I'm going to start with an equal sign, and then I'm going to start with the loan, the amount of the loan, and I am going to divide it by the interest rate, which is here, divided by 12. Oh, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. This should have been a multiplication sign. So it should be B13 times the interest rate times 12. Now, I know order of operations. If I were to do this, it would multiply first and then divide second. I want to divide first. So I'm going to put parentheses around this. And that way it's going to let me divide my interest rate first and then multiply it times my principal. So I can see of the first payment, $37.50 is going to be going towards interest. Step H says we want to change this to accounting format. So in my home tab, $37.50, I'm going to click on it, change it to accounting format. Step I says select your cell D13, which is here. Now the principal is whatever I'm paying off of the loan, which is my payment minus the interest. So this is a formula. I'm going to start it with equals. The amount of my payment is going to be C8. So I'm going to click on C8. And then I am going to subtract the interest that I'm paying, which is C13. And then I press enter. So the amount that I'm paying off in the loan is $148.93. Now next is the total payment. The total payment is the combination between principal and interest. So in cell E13, I'm going to press an equals, and I am going to click on the interest plus the principal. That should equal the amount of my payment, which is $186.43. It does. Now the ending balance of my loan is the beginning balance minus anything I've paid off in principal. So I'm going to go to the ending balance and press equals. I start with the beginning balance and I subtract the principal. So my beginning balance of my loan is now less than $10,000 because I paid off a little bit of it. Okay, $9,851.07. So it tells me then that I want to select cell A13 and A14, which shows me a pattern. And I am going to double click on the fill handle, which is in the bottom right. When I double click on it, and mine is not working, when I double click on it, it should fill in all of the numbers. Now, since mine isn't working, I'm going to click and drag to highlight this down all the way to row 72. So I'm going to keep extending this through row 72. Now I should see all of my payments numbered 1 through 60, which is my 5-year loan. Step C says select B14, which is my second beginning balance. My beginning balance is whatever the ending balance was for the first line. So in B14, I'm going to press an equal sign and then click on the ending balance from the last one. So that's my beginning balance. So now I am going to double click the fill pointer for cell B14 to fill the formula down to row 72. So I'm on B14 and I am just going to click and drag this down to B72. Now I can see here nothing got filled in. That makes sense because it's looking at each ending line and I don't have the totals in for the ending yet, so it's not going to work. Step F says select cells C13 through F13. C13 through F13. Then it tells me that I want to fill this down to row 72. So I'm going to go to the fill handle and I'm going to click and drag this down all the way to row 72. Now it automatically calculates the balance for me. Now I'm going to have you guys notice something. First of all, each ending balance begins the beginning balance for the next year. The total payments are always $186.43. But as I look, the amount of interest is going down and the principal, which is the part of the loan that I'm paying off, is going up. I can see every time I make a payment on my student loan, my ending balance is going down. So this is an amortization schedule, and this shows me how much of each payment is going to pay interest and principal and what I still owe. So I'm going to press Control S to save. I'm going to flip over to my other worksheet, which is fees and credit now. And I'm going to build a multiplication formula and some mathematical operations. So step A says select cell F7, which is total fees here. Now, what I'm looking at right here is if you went to college, there's different departments. Here we've got a biology department. We've got a foreign language department. We've got an like a software department, and then we've got a physics department or physical science. Here are the course names for all of the classes, and here are the credits that you receive for the classes. Different college classes have different credits. And then each time a class is offered, it's called a section. So it looks like in general biology, there are 12 different classes offered that are called general biology. And the fee for this class is $125. So what we want to do is we want to figure out some specific fees. So I'm going to go to my total fees, which is F7, and I am going to now click my equal sign. This is going to be a formula, and I'm going to click on the credit hours, which are 3, times Shift 8, the number of sections, which is D7, times the fees. So what this is telling me is this is how much the college is going to earn from the general biology class. So I'm going to press enter. I see from all 12 sections, the college is going to earn $4,500 for all of the sections. Step C says click on cell G7, fee credit per hour. This is going to be a formula, so I'm going to start it with an equal sign, and I'm going to click on F7 and divide it by, now I'm going to do an order of operations, so I'm going to start a parenthesis here. I'm going to click on C7, which is the number of credit hours, times D7, number of sections, times C20, which is the average enrollment. So this is the average number of people who take classes. And then I am going to press the closing parenthesis. And then I'm going to hit enter. So it's going to tell me that 8.33 is the fee that is charged per average enrollment in the class. I am going to change this, and I'm going to select, hold on. I'm going to change this one to currency. So I'm going to go to the 8.33. I'm going to pull this down, and I'm going to choose currency as the format, which is $8.33. Now, I want to show you something. So I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to undo it. So I want to copy this down. The formulas are the same for all the way down. So I'm going to highlight the F7 and G7. I'm going to go to the fill handle and copy this down. I can see my total fees got filled in, but there's a problem here with my formula for everything else for fee per hour. So I'm just going to click in one of them, and I'm just going to kind of go through the formula. F9, which is the total fees, divided by C9, which is the credit hours, times D9, times C22. Do you guys see how there's nothing in C22? So it's trying to multiply it times nothing that's in the box. So I'm going to Control Z to undo this, and I'm going to go back to my formula in G7. What I am going to do is, since when I copy this formula down, I always want C20 to be a part of the formula, average enrollment. I need to tell this to never move when I copy it. This is called an absolute reference. An absolute reference keeps this staying put in C20 when I copy the formula down. In order to do an absolute reference, I go into my formula bar, and in front of the C, I put a $sign, so a shift 4. And in front of the 20, I put a $sign, a shift 4. Now I press enter. The formula stays the same. The amount stays the same, but now when I highlight F7 and G7 and try to copy it, it actually copies down, and the formulas always refer to C20. C20 never moves. That's an absolute reference. So I'm going to highlight F7 through G18, And I am going to set also a bottom border. So first of all, just double check that it's currency. Mine is. Then I'm going to go to my borders button, which is in my home tab, and I'm going to click on bottom border just to make sure the border is there. Now, one of the last formulas that we are going to be working with here are some of the sum formulas. Okay, so I'm going to move over to step 9, and it tells me to click in D26. So I've got to move down a little bit. D26. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of total stuff up if it fits into a department. So if you guys take a look here, I've got biology, here foreign language, information management, and physical science. Those are all of the different categories that I had for my departments. So I want to kind of total these departments. So in F7, I am going to use a sum if formula. Now again, you could go to your formulas tab and you could go to look in your math and trig is actually where it is, but I'm going to go to my insert function button. I'm going to change it to all, and I know that the description of sum if is sum if, and then I'm going to press go. It comes right up to the formula that I want, so I'm going to click on OK. So I've got 3 questions to answer here. What range am I looking at to sum things in? Second, what is the criteria? And third, what is the sum range? So the range here, it says add specific cells by a given condition or criteria. So for the range, we are going to select A7. So I'm going to kind of scroll up here. A7 through A18. So we're going to look at all of the department words. Now, what word am I looking for? If you look in the formula that I'm in the biological science. The clue reference is bio. So I am going to type in for the criteria bio. Now, I want to copy this formula, but I never want the range to move. I always wanted to look at these initials. So I want to make my range absolute reference. So in front of the A, $sign, in front of the 7, $sign, in front of the A, $sign, in front of the 18, $sign. And then in the sum range, okay, what I'm saying is I'm going to look through all of these, and if I find bio, where do you want me to put this? In my sum range, I want you to click F7 through F18, which I've got to kind of move this out of the way here, which is the totals, F7 through F18. So let's just kind of go through this and let's make sure you guys understand what you guys are doing. You are looking through the department titles and trying to find bio. And if you find bio, you are going to add up the total fees that you find for all of the bios. So I see there's 3, 4,500, 4,050, and 4,800. So I would guess we're right around 12 or 13,000. I'm going to click OK. Oh, sure enough, 13,350. Well, I want to change this to a currency format. So I'm going to change from general to currency. There, I've got it. All right, step 10, we are going to do a sum if again. Now, our sum if it was looking for the words bio. So we're going to kind of change it to look for some other things. So tells me to click in D26. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on step 11. So it says select E26, which is the foreign language. Okay, hold on. I am going to select D26 and I am going to drag the fill handle down. Now what I can see is all of the amounts are different, but the formulas are actually wrong. If I click in D27 and I look in the formula, it is telling me that the foreign languages are looking for the bio. Well, I see that foreign languages have the code FRL. So I'm going to go into my formula bar, backspace, and type in FRL. Press enter. I get a different amount. Information management system. I look in my formula bar, I see bio. I am going to backspace and type in IMS and press enter. Lastly is the physical science. Again, it says bio. I wanted to look for the PHY, and then press enter. Oh. Now I'm going to go back through and I'm going to double check my formulas are right. So this one says to check A7 through A18. Yes, that's right. Check for bio. And if it's bio, add together all of the cells from F7 to F18. That's right. I move down here, foreign language. I can see that I've got that sum if foreign language, and it's looking at those. But do you see how it's going to add from F8 to F19? Do you guys see that the total fees start in F7? So I'm going to change this one to F7, and then they end at F18. So I'm going to go to F18 and press enter. Now, information systems, again, we're looking at IMS, but it's starting at F9. I need it to start at F7 and go through F18. Now, I could have done an absolute reference for these, and that would have been easier than trying to add at the end, but I'm just going to fix it because I know what I'm looking for. Again, in D29, PHY is physical science, but I need it to go from F7 to F18. And now my formulas are correct. So I'm going to press Control S right now. Now, I am going to highlight all of these fees in D26 to D29, and I'm going to make sure that they are currency, which mine are. Now, step 11, it says select cell E26. E26 wants me to put in a formula. So I'm going to click on my formulas tab, and it tells me to go to math and trig, but I'm going to go to my insert function, and I'm going to change mine to all. And I know that I am looking for the function that is sum product. So I'm going to type in sum product here. And sure enough, I found it and click OK. Step C says click the array 1. So array 1 is going to have us look at, hold on, let me scroll up, how many total credit hours there are for biology, which is C7 through C9. So I'm going to look here. For array 2, it wants me to look at the number of sections for biology. So I'm going to go to array 2, D7 through D9, and then I'm going to click OK. So what this did is this just multiplied all of the credits by all of the sections, and it gave me the total credits. So it added them all together. Now, I am going to click on E26 and point to its trace error button. This is this little caution sign right here, and I'm going to pull down the little arrow next to it. And I am going to click ignore error. It wants to say that I did something wrong here, but I didn't actually do something wrong. Now I'm going to copy this in cell E26, and I'm going to drag it down through cell E29. Now it is going to make, and I'm going to make sure that what I've done is correct. So I'm going to click on this, and it tells me that I want a sum product C8 through C10, and this is for foreign languages. Well, I can see foreign languages start at row 10 and go through row 12. So it shouldn't say 8. It should start at 10 and it should go through 12. Now the D's, foreign languages, go from row 10 through row 12. So I'm going to change the D's also and then press enter. Now again, I get a trace error button and I'm going to ignore the error. I'm going to go down to information systems. I can see 13 through 15. So I'm going to change my numbers from 13 through 15, from 13 through 15, not 115, 15, and then ignore my trace error, which is here, which I can't get to. And then the last one is going to be for physical science, which I see as row 16 through 18. So I'm going to change my numbers, 16 to 18, 16 through 18. And then I'm going to click enter to finish it. And if you get an error button, again, you ignore your trace error, which ignore error. So step 13, it says select cell G30. So here is G30, and it says that I want to put in a date. So I am going to start by putting in the equal sign, which is going to be my universal for formula, and I'm going to start typing the code word TO. Now I can see this little cheat pops up. Even when I just type T, it's all of the formulas that start with T are here. I keep going with O, and I can see the only formula that comes up is today. I am going to click on today, double click on it. Oh, I'm sorry. And then I'm going to press enter. And it puts today's date in. And now I'm going to press Control Home. It tells me that I want to now go to my new sheet. So I've got 2 sheets at the bottom. I'm now going to click this plus sign in here to put in a new sheet. And I'm going to call the new sheet range names. So I'm going to double click on sheet name, range, and then space names. Oh, gotta fix it. Range names. Now it tells me to name the new sheet range names and select cell A1, which I am. And then it tells me to press my F3 button, which is my paste names. So in my F3 is above your number keys are your F keys. I'm going to press F3, which should be paste names, but mine is not. So I'm going to go over here to my name manager. And I am going to click the paste list button. So I'm going to get out of the name manager. It's actually in use formula. And here is paste names. Now here are all of the sections that we named. And we saw those before. So I am just going to click paste list here. And this is going to paste all of the things that we saved. And then I'm going to auto fit. So I'm going to go in between A and B, and I'm going to double click, B and C, double click, and now I've got everything in that I need. Control S to save, and then you're going to upload it to SimNet and make sure that you guys get a grade that's acceptable. If not, you're going to do it again, and that completes our guided project.